Social studies time. You ready, Riker?
I'll do it in under 5 seconds
Tomorrow. All right. I need social studies notebooks out. Social studies notebooks. If you want, you can pull up the lesson 2 PDF. That's what we're going to start today, doing a little review. All right. You are finishing the lesson 2 notes for yesterday's assignment, and you are posting again to then, or submitting to that chapter 9 lesson 2 right here. Let's get it in the video. There we go. Submit your notes here. So you submitted notes here Thursday. You submitted vocab, people, places, and part of the notes Thursday. Yesterday, then, for online, I assigned you to finish lesson 2 and submit those second half of the notes here. Some of you had messaged me and said that you had just done it all on Thursday, which was fine. You didn't realize that I kind of separated it because it was a lot. Okay, so you're going to have probably 2 or 3 posts or submissions at least here. One for vocab, people, places, one from Thursday, and then one from yesterday. Okay. So I should have all of your notes for lesson 2 and your vocab, people, places. That's what I'll go in and check to make sure it's all there, and then I will give you a grade for that into Harmony. Okay? You're reading lesson 2 and answering the reading check questions to take notes. You might have added some additional information. The vocab, the people, and the places were probably some of the most important things here in lesson 2. Okay? And that's what we're going to review right now. So let's look at our first reading check question on page 347. So we didn't review anything in lesson 2 yet. So it asks you, what caused problems for the British Army? Caused problems. Jen? Right, they were far away, right? So the colonies were not close to Britain at all, so that made it difficult. Why would that be difficult? Why would the distance alone be the most complicated thing? Sean?
Because they won't be able to get goods and stuff fast enough, and they won't be able to
Right.
get the soldiers fast enough.
Yeah, the supplies, the soldiers, bringing them over would take a while because they were traveling by ship. How many miles, John? 3,000 miles. Okay, so that was the biggest thing. Looking at those, the picture there at the top of 347, you have a British soldier and an American soldier. What do you see there that's similar between those two? Let's look at those uniforms. What's similar? Riker?
They both kind of have like flannel jackets and like some.
Okay, they have a jacket, right, of some sort. Now, if you look between the two, you can see the British soldier has a way fancier, right, uniform, very, you might say professional looking, where the American soldier just kind of, they had what they had. Okay, what else? Brendan?
The way they wore their pants were the same.
Okay.
They had their socks up to like half of the shin.
All right.
It seemed like boots, like, almost.
Okay. Maya?
They're both wearing some kind of hat.
They're both wearing a
I
hat.
don't understand why the British would choose white if they're gonna fight. in a war.
Right, that does seem kind of silly. Josh?
They both have guns.
Oh, they both have a musket. Now, the British soldiers a little more, they have the bayonet as well, but they're both carrying that musket, right? So they have the same, or a similar weapon. Okay, we see some similarities. Kenny, you have one? We're gonna move on if not. No? All right.
Difference.
Oh, a difference. Go ahead. Yeah.
The American soldiers have more of a cowboyish type hat, and the
Ah,
British have kind of,
kind of fancy, isn't it?
yeah, and it's surprising. It doesn't look like it's changed much since modern day.
You're right, it doesn't, right? When you see some of the pictures that they or that you see maybe on the news or whatever, you're right, it doesn't, right? They're very similar even today to what they were wearing back then. That's a good observation too. All right, good job. Next page, 346. What caused Washington to attack Trenton on Christmas night? So Washington being our leader, right, of that Continental Army, so he made a decision to attack Trenton. Trenton is in where? Ooh. Now I got two questions going. Where's Trenton? Josh? New Jersey. Good. So why did he decide to do that? Adam? Yeah, he was hoping to surprise them, right? They didn't know about it. He figured it would be a surprise so they could easily, hopefully, win that battle. Sean, what else?
Kind of what he said, like they don't usually fight in the winter time.
Okay. Hunter?
It says armies rarely fought in battles in winter.
There you go. That's what Sean said, right? They rarely fought, so it was definitely going to be a surprise. Okay. All right. So then you had a question on, that was 348. 349 is where you would have ended on Thursday. So let's look here. It says, what caused people to believe America could win the war? Ooh. Nick?
The Bunker Hill battle when they almost beat the British.
Not the Bunker Hill battle. So there, Britain kind of thought they had this in the bag, right? What battle happened here on these pages that told them, oh, America might be a little more difficult? Jackson? Yeah, so the Americans do win victory at the Battle of Saratoga. When did that happen? What year? What year was that battle? John?
1777.
Yep, September 19th, 1777. The Continental Army there wins the Battle of Saratoga. Okay, and you notice down here, I'm looking on page 349, it says a turning point, right? The event causes an important change. It looked as if the Americans might have a chance to win the war. So the Battle of Saratoga is an important one for the American forces there. All right, so then yesterday you would have started on page 350, okay, with taking some notes. So there is no reading check here. It talks about the Valley Forge. Where's Valley Forge at? That was an important place. Should have written that down. Riker, where's it at?
It's in the notes.
It's in your notes. I would hope it's in your notes.
Valley Forge.
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So now we move to Pennsylvania here. Okay. And it's the winter still. John, what do you got?
There's a reading check on the other page.
Yep, there is. I'm getting there. Where I was just looking at page 350. That's where you would have started reading, and then on 351 is where you'd find the reading check, right? So it ends. The reading checks, you'll find them after each of the purple, kind of the subheadings. Okay. So what effect did Friedrich Wilhelm von Steuben have on the Continental Army? He was an important person. A lot of you didn't want to write his name because it's so long, right? So if you just wrote von Steuben, that would give you an idea. Okay. What did he do? No. Maya, what did he do?
He came from Germany.
Okay.
He helped train the army and really figured them out and got them.
Right. So you have to remember these colonists were coming from where? What were they doing before this war? John? Yeah, before the war started. What were a lot of these people, these colonists, what was their job?
Like farming,
Mhm.
housework around town.
Yeah, farming, right? Harvesting. They might have been silversmiths. They might have done other different jobs like that, okay? So they were not trained soldiers. And here you have the British Army coming in, and they were trained soldiers, right? So imagine being inexperienced and trying to fight against these people that have lots of experience. That's what they did. Those colonists did not. And that's the difference, too, with the uniforms, right? They were wearing kind of regular plain clothing. Okay, so Washington brings in von Steuben to help train them, right, to win these battles. So that's another important part of how we end up winning this war. That takes us to, we talked about this a little bit. Benjamin Franklin, right? And what he did and what was needed. So what caused the French to join the war in support of the Americans? John?
The news of Americans winning Saratoga.
Right. So the Battle of Saratoga kind of encourages France to help them. at first, France was kind of secretly helping, right? Why would they do that? Why would they secretly help the Americans? Sean?
So that British doesn't go try to attack them.
Right, they didn't want Britain to know, because if Britain, at that point, they thought Britain was probably going to win. So they didn't want Britain to know that they were offering this help. And we know who goes to France to also help encourage them for their support. Who travels over there? Remember that article used a really fancy word. Josh?
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin, right? He goes over there. What does France offer them? What kind of help do they give? Riker?
Ammunition.
Supplies. What else? What else? You might not say what, you might say who, right, John?
More people.
Right, soldiers, right? They needed soldiers, and France would have hopefully some well-trained soldiers like Britain did. Okay, so they sent supplies and they sent soldiers over to help with the battle for the Americans. Okay, other things that maybe caught your attention in that lesson? Things you want to share, Maya?
Lafayette.
Oh, yes. And he was, remind me what page, because he was an important person. That's right, the last page, so he kind of gets a little brief information there, doesn't he? Give me a second, Josh. So tell me about Lafayette. Now he was, Josh, wasn't he the one that you had asked me about at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yes, there he is.
He's somewhere on like 347, 348.
So he's in the beginning,
Yeah.
okay? And his name isn't gonna be bold type again. That's the issue with trying to find him again. Lafayette is his last name, D. Lafayette. And I had mentioned to Josh that you'll see him at the beginning where it says you are there, but they don't really give you a lot of information about him there. So you have to find him within the text. Okay, did you find him, June? 350 towards, oh, yep, there he is. So underneath help from overseas. So he was 20 years old and he traveled to France too to join the Continental, or traveled from France to join the Continental Army. Okay, so he was one of those that was coming to help from France. Riker?
I was gonna say that he helped the Continental Army.
Okay, and came from France, right? Okay, so we see some of those people on there. Josh?
Is that how Lafayette got its name?
I suppose possibly.
I was thinking that.
Okay, John?
On the last page, it says in 1739, Spain declared war on Britain.
Yes, so there's another war starting, right? Spain and Britain are now battling a war. Okay, we see that happening there on the last page of lesson 2. All right. Okay. Today, I have opened the lesson 3 PDF, so you're going to add those vocab, people, places. I think there's 2 or 3 vocab words. It's mainly, again, people and places. Keep in mind, you might see the same people. You might even see the same places. Okay, but you have to look in the lesson to see what's the main idea, right? Riker, we talked about that for reading. Okay, why are they in this lesson? What is the main purpose for them? Okay, and write a couple things down. So you're going to add those in. You are also going to take this lesson 1 and 2 quiz. You're not using notes. You're not using your book. Okay, we've just talked fairly well about all of these questions that it's going to ask you. A lot of them come from lesson 1. Okay, 10 questions, multiple choice it looks like for all of them. So you're going to do the quiz first and then add your lesson 3 vocab, people, places. Okay? All right, working on social studies.